You won't believe why my neighbor called the police. My elderly neighbor, Mrs. Chen, called the police on me for running a drug operation because I started growing vegetables in my backyard during lockdown. What she didn't know was that I just lost my job at the restaurant and was trying to feed my family of 4 on unemployment benefits. My wife Sarah was pregnant with our 3rd child, and we were barely scraping by when I decided to turn our tiny backyard into a survival garden. I spent weeks watching tutorials and reading library books about urban farming, slowly transforming our patch of dead grass into rows of tomatoes, lettuce, carrots, and herbs. My kids helped me plant seeds every morning before their virtual school started. It became our family project, something positive during the darkest time of our lives. Mrs. Chen, who lived in the pristine house next door with her perfectly manicured lawn, started watching us through her kitchen window. At first, I thought she was just curious, maybe even impressed by our little urban farm. But then the comments started, "That's not what backyards are for." She'd mutter loud enough for us to hear when we were outside, "This isn't some third world country." I tried to stay friendly, always waving and offering her fresh tomatoes, which she'd refuse with a disgusted look. 3 months and our garden was thriving. We were saving almost $200 a month on groceries, and the kids were learning where food actually comes from. My kids had named every tomato plant. It was the first time in months our family felt hopeful. That's when Mrs. Chen escalated last Tuesday. I was out at 6 a.m. harvesting lettuce for Sarah's morning smoothie. She needed the folic acid for the baby. When I noticed Mrs. Chen taking pictures of me through her fence, she was being obvious about it, zooming in on my hands as I picked vegetables. "Excuse me," I called over. "Is everything okay?" She just glared and went inside. An hour later, I was teaching the kids how to identify ripe tomatoes when 3 police cars pulled up outside. My heart dropped, thinking something had happened to Sarah, who was inside. Resting Officer Martinez stepped out, looking confused, followed by 2 other officers. "Morning, sir. We received a report about suspicious agricultural activity and possible drug cultivation." I stared at him in disbelief. "Drug cultivation? You mean my vegetable garden?" He glanced at our neat rows of clearly labeled plants, tomatoes with little wooden signs reading Cherokee purple, and early girl lettuce varieties in perfect lines, carrots with their feathery green tops swaying in the breeze. "Sir, we have to investigate all reports," Officer Martinez said, looking embarrassed. "The caller insisted you were growing marijuana and possibly manufacturing drugs based on your early morning harvesting schedule." I couldn't help but laugh. "Officer, would you like to see my dangerous drug operation?" I led him through our garden, pointing out each plant. "Here's our lettuce cartel. These carrots are clearly a front for organized crime, and don't get me started on our tomato empire." Officer Martinez accepted the tomato and bit into it. His face lit up. "This is incredible. Did you grow this yourself?" The other officers were now examining our plants with genuine interest, asking about growing techniques and harvest schedules. "How long have you been gardening?" Officer Rodriguez asked. "Started during lockdown. Lost my job at Romano's restaurant, needed to feed my family somehow." Officer Martinez nodded. "My grandmother had a garden like this in Mexico, fed the whole neighborhood." He turned toward Mrs. Chen's house where she was watching from her window. "Ma'am, we've completed our investigation. This is clearly a vegetable garden, not a drug operation." Mrs. Chen's face went red as she slammed her window shut. Before leaving, Officer Martinez asked if he could buy some tomatoes for his wife, who was also pregnant. I insisted he take them for free along with some lettuce and herbs. "Keep doing what you're doing," he said. "This is exactly what communities need more of." As the police cars drove away, my kids were giggling about their drug-dealing daddy, and Sarah came outside laughing so hard she nearly cried. Mrs. Chen hasn't made eye contact since, and yesterday I noticed she'd started her own small herb garden in her backyard. I left a packet of basil seeds on her doorstep with a note, "For the neighborhood drug ring, welcome to the cartel."